Welcome to Laurie's Kitchen. I know usually I say good morning at 11 a.m., but this time, because I'm doing Chinese egg rolls, I have to do part of it today and part of it tomorrow. If Tracy hadn't said, gee, I think people want to see the filling, I would have just shown you the end result of this, but I'll go through it all. I'll go through the whole process. First and foremost, I would love for you to contribute to the Houston Food Bank. We are slowly opening our doors in Houston, and I see more people out, lots more traffic in Houston, but there's still plenty of people who need food. All the businesses aren't running. There's people that really need to possibly get some food at the food bank, and I would love for you to contribute. I have a couple of different shout outs. One is to Pete's Meats. They're the ones who, they're not contributing anything to me at all. I'm buying this ground pork, but I do just walk down the corner to the corner, and I know I'm getting good meat at Pete's Meats. Another shout out today is to my friend Jenny Fitzpatrick. I think this is so funny. She celebrates Happy, National, and fill in the blank. Today it happened to be Chocolate Chip Day. I have a chocolate chip cookie in here that as soon as I'm done with this little show, I'm going to eat. So I told her I would have a hostage exchange, and it would be National Chinese Old-Fashioned Egg Roll Day tomorrow, and she could have an egg roll, and we both laughed because it's not that day at all. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the backstory of the Chinese egg rolls. I took a Chinese cooking class back in about 1985 with my friend Marcia Benning, and that's when I got interested in this. I actually believe I had started making egg rolls years before that, and I wanted to enhance my Chinese cooking by taking a class. This is Joyce Chen's cookbook. It was published in 1962. My copy of it is so old that the cover has just melded right onto the book itself. And if you have a good cookbook, you're going to be able to turn to a specific page and see all the grease that I've used over all these years making these egg rolls. Back in the old days, I haven't made egg rolls in years, which came home to roost today when I tried to start making these. Anyway, this is the old cookbook. Very hard to find now. I found that out when I was looking for the recipe. Another interesting sidelight is the Food Network is kind of my backstory. I would watch the Food Network and really learn a lot from the different cooks. They don't do very much of that. They have a lot of competition now, but they don't cook as much. But tonight I'm going to show you little bowls that with little different things in them. And I always thought, oh, this would be so cool if I had these little bowls and just dumped them in and looked like I knew what I was doing. So I have just washed my hands, but I'll run a rinse one more time because I'm going to use my hands to mix. And I use more dish towels than anyone on earth, I think. And also, of course, my handy apron. All right, so I'm going to start this, but first I'm going to turn this on. And turn it up on pretty high. I'm using an old Magnalite pan, and it has a lid to go with it, but I don't need the pan tonight. It's pretty heavy. I've used cast iron, and I have shown you that. This is from Jim's mother, probably grandmother to be honest, way back in the 20s and 30s. And if you ever get the opportunity to take from the old kitchen of a grandma, you grab it, because those types of cooking utensils and pots and pans, you just don't see those anymore. All right, so you turn your fire up pretty high. I learned this cooking trick a long time ago. This is 2 tablespoons. So you circle around once, you circle around twice, and that's 2 tablespoons. I'm using an olive oil called Sola Stella from Texas Hill Country Olive Company. It's a really pretty good one. I enjoy it. I enjoy going there because you get to do all the tasting, and then you can go have drinks and giggle your way through the afternoon laughing with one of your best friends. All right, so first and foremost, that's heating up. I'm putting in sherry. I've got 2 tablespoons because I'm doubling this whole recipe. And then I'm going to put in cornstarch. Cornstarch thickens the whole thing up. You can make a mess with it too, like I am. And then brown sugar, 2 tablespoons. Isn't this cool? It looks like I really know what I'm doing. And then dump this. This is this brown, I'm going to show you. It's a seasoning like Kitchen Bouquet. Back in the old days, I used brown gravy syrup. I'm going to use my hands right here, and I'm going to mix all this up. Let it sit for a minute. It's kind of disgusting, but cooking is kind of that way. I mean, I did cut up a chicken for you a few weeks ago. All right, so that's all going to sit there for a minute. I'm going to wash my hands again. Another thing in cooking, you're washing your hands constantly. So this whole bit about washing your hands all the time, cooks are washing their hands all the time. And using their trusty towels and their aprons. All right, the next thing that's going to happen, I put my oil in the pan, and I'm going to cook up my celery and my onion, and I want to show you another little trick. This is sliced ginger. It comes in a long ginger root, and this is sherry. All right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to throw that in there. And then I'm going to put the lid back on. And what's cool is you can use this for the next 2 or 3 years. It will never go bad, and it's a good thing to have around. All right, first, here goes the celery. Notice how small it is. Remember what you're doing. You are cooking egg rolls, and egg rolls are little bitty fellas. You gotta sweat this out a little bit, and you can see how glistening it is. And you can hear the sound. See how it kind of sweats? You can see it sort of dripping. Along the line, celery's got a ton of water in it. And along the line of onion, you let an onion sweat out too. So I'm going to cook this up. If I'd been smart, I probably would have cooked my onion or my celery a little earlier, but somehow today, well, to be honest with you, tonight I tried America's Test Kitchen, and if you don't know anything about America's Test Kitchen, you need to. They will take, in this case, 50 pounds of shrimp and try it 18,000 different ways to come up with the best way to cook shrimp scampi. And I thought I just had to do that. I had to do it today. So my friend brought up from Corpus Christi beautiful, beautiful shrimp, fresh, like he said. It slept in the bay last night, and we proceeded to, I don't even know, brown up the shells. It was crazy, but the end result was, maybe I'll cook it for you guys sometime, was shrimp scampi, the best I've ever had. It was really, really delicious. All right, so now the celery's doing its own thing. You don't have to cook it completely up because I'm going to add other stuff to it. All right, there's onion. I use green onion because I like the color. And again, you're just kind of wilting it a little bit. I guess that's the best way. Notice you can see these 2 ginger roots in here because you're going to pick those out at a later time. And when you pick those out, then you know, okay, I'm not going to be biting into a ginger. And they add plenty of flavor. And the sherry is kind of nice too. There's sherry like coming and going. All right, I want to show you something. I got this at Sur La Table. This is a magic fork. And I intend on having every human in my life have one of these magic forks. You can do anything with it. My favorite thing to do with it is scrambling eggs. Bobby Clay taught me how to scramble eggs. But he sure didn't teach me with this fork. It fluffs them up, they taste delicious, and there's really not a whole lot to it. All right, the next step of all of this,
that was supposed to be first.
Is, what?
That was supposed to be first.
Is putting my pork in there. All right, so it's all in. And let's see if I can make this do right. So now you're cooking your celery and kind of mushing it all in there. There's going to be something extra that I add to my egg rolls that other people don't, and that's going to be shrimp. So as soon as, I've got to get another utensil. I've got to get something that's a little sturdier. We'll try this one. And that's something cooking all the time. You have to figure out, okay, this isn't working after all my raving about the pork. This isn't doing exactly what I want it to do. What I want this to do, on a pretty high heat, because you can hear it rattling, I want this to cook up. But as I'm cooking, do you see what I'm doing? I'm cutting this all up because it's all one. Like anytime you get this at the grocery store. But I don't want it to be a great big thing. I want it to be small pieces because again, you're making egg rolls. At least tomorrow you are. Today you're just trying to survive and make this the first round of it, the old school. Because I have several things I have to do tonight to make this work. I'm going to convince you don't ever want to make an egg roll after my little presentation there. All right, so I know I get in. I call it I get ahead of my skis. I think I can do all these things all at one time. And people will tell you that I actually can most of the time. All right, so this is just about done, thank goodness. And you can look at this and see that the celery and the onion are starting to really, and it might not look very egg rolly right now, but it's going to. And I'm going to, I know, my egg rolls have a lot of meat in them. And you're wondering, when you go get one at the restaurant, no, they don't have the meat like I do. But once people found out I was making egg rolls, I had quite a list of deliveries tomorrow. So I have to make sure I have enough for everybody. Now, you see how this is chopping up? That is what you want. I'm pretty excited about this because this is all kind of coming back to me. All right, the next thing I'm going to put in is shrimp. Not called for in Joyce's cookbook, but I'm going to tell you something about the way life really works. You do what you want to do. It's your kitchen. You cook the way you want. You add the ingredients. If you don't have something, maybe you can add something different. But you have to own this. You have to figure out what is it that I like to taste. Like that recipe tonight, the shrimp scampi recipe was so interesting because I've been making shrimp scampi for years, but I was never satisfied with it. I always thought it was kind of gloppy. And I made this tonight, and I was real proud of myself because I used, well, I've never done shrimp shells except one time in a shrimp stew. I think Lynn and I made it years and years ago, and there was something about shells in that. But as a rule, I'm not going to be cooking with the shrimp shells, but this time I did. And now you're looking, and remember, when you cook shrimp, you cook it fast. You don't sit around waiting for it to rubber up on you. You cook that shrimp fast because you want to make sure, wow, this looks good. You want to make sure that it's cooked, but not overcooked. And it just doesn't take but a minute. Look at this. Oh, wow. I am impressed. All right, so this is just about done. And the next step is to cook some Chinese cabbage. It's called Napa cabbage. And yeah, we're going to cook that up next. Kind of hard to see, but I think this is done. I'm going to go with it just another minute or two. Oh wow, it is done. Oh goodness. Ugh. One hard thing about the Magnolite is it's heavy.
It's not light.
I know, it's a heavy operator. Whoops, I'm just throwing it all over the place.
Lighter than cast iron.
It is lighter than cast iron, as my cameraman is telling me. But right this minute, I don't know, this is pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so the crazy thing you do next, oh, I'm glad that's done. All right, the crazy thing you do next is you shuffle through this. This is a colander. You see?
There you go.
See how this is going? You want this dried out, and you want the liquid from it for the cabbage. All right, so you're gonna mash, and see how you're pushing this down? That's what you're gonna do. People are gonna know they have shrimp in this. This is pretty big shrimp. I think I should have probably cut it a little bit smaller. All right, here we go. There's nothing wrong with doing things your way in the kitchen. You don't have to always follow the instruction. You can do things like, if you don't like this one calls for quite a bit of pepper. I don't put pepper in mine. I'm gonna taste shrimp. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to put this in the sink. Try not to throw water in it. I'm going to put this. Here's the liquid. Pretty impressive. See?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to dump this liquid in here. Now, if you know anything about, that's last. If you know anything about cabbage, you're going to know, here's cabbage. This is Napa cabbage. It's not plain old cabbage. And it's going to shrink. There's not going to be much left of it. I'm going to heat this up slightly.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Okay, so first, we're having a little dispute on where to put this ingredient in. All right, we're going to put this much in. And I don't know if you've noticed when you're cooking, but like spinach is a perfect example. If you wilt your spinach, you start out with a pile of spinach like this. Like you couldn't even put it all in the bag. And then what happens to it? Just like what's going to happen right here. It wilts down and it's a mere speck of its former self. So here we go. And you know, you remember, there's that liquid that I just poured in there, and cabbage is full of liquid too. So there's, see how it's already getting littler? It's getting littler and littler, and listen to it. I'm going to put more in. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. I probably should have added a little salt earlier, but I'm going to do it now. And wait for this to shrink up on me. What's interesting is these two results. In other words, the stuffing over there and the cabbage over here. It's all going to go together tomorrow, but it's not going to go together today. When it's cold, you mix the two together, and that's what I'm going to show you tomorrow. So basically, we are at the end of the line for tonight. I'm going to wrap these things up. I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. See how it's shrinking? Started out big, and look at how little it's getting. This is going to go in the refrigerator when it cools down. Put a top on both of them, saran wrap or a lid or whatever. I did want to show you, I don't know how old you are, this Tupperware. How about 50 years old? I don't know where the lids are, but here it is. I've got 2 pieces left. And it's funny, when you do a lot of home cooking, you tend to go back to the same bowl for certain things. And this is the exact same bowl I used to put the cabbage in the 70s. And the other little, I've got another little white bowl over there, and it's the same bowl that I put the stuffing in the 70s. And that's comforting to me. And I think when you're in a situation like we're in right now, where I'm making comfort food, I'm enjoying it. I've never done a TV show ever in my life like this. And I don't think my family's calling me a diva yet, but you know, if they want to, that's okay. They're not here this weekend, so they're not going to get these Chinese egg rolls. One more thing I wanted to tell you, I'll repeat it tomorrow because I want you to know the recipe for it, but there's a sauce, it's called Jezebel sauce. And Jezebel sauce is a mixture of hot and sweet. In other words, not hot like hot to the touch, but hot to the taste. And that's what you need for egg rolls. And I've made that sauce. You have to let it sit for a day or two so that all of the ingredients can marry one another. And I've done that. All right, so I'll use that tomorrow. Now, I wanted to show you what started out to be a great big pot full of cabbage. Here it is. It's down to just practically nothing. All right, so that's it. I'm going to put that in the refrigerator. And, well, there's one more thing I have to do. I'm going to put this flour on here. I think that's a little too much. And you mix, mix, mix. And now it's going to cool off because it's really hot. You can see the steam coming off of it. And I'm going to put that in there for tomorrow. Then I'll put it in that bowl, and then I'll put my stuffing in the other bowl. And tomorrow I'll bring it all back out again, and we'll make egg rolls. I am doing part 2 because this is a 2-part project of old school Chinese egg rolls. So last night, if you followed me, which I think there were 3 people who followed me, but that's okay. I was very happy with those. Anyway, if you follow me, I showed you how to make the stuffing. And it's just like the salad at this point. I've tossed it all together. It has all the ingredients that you need, primarily shrimp and ground pork. That's the real meaty part of this. And then you add green onion and celery and bean sprouts and Chinese cabbage. I'm going to show you, all I did for the bean sprouts is just dump these in. And this is the one I used. Mung bean sprouts, actually out of Dallas, Texas. I looked to make sure, homegrown and all. So you're going to kind of scrunch these up a little bit. And yes, I already washed my hands. And just toss it like a salad. That's what I wanted to show you. So try to keep everything in the bowl. And you can see it's ready to go, I hope. I have oil over here. I used Wesson canola oil. You can use peanut oil, especially if you're a turkey fryer. If you're a turkey fryer, you always use peanut oil because the heat point is so much higher, you're not going to burn up your kitchen. Now for me today, what I did is I experimented with one already just in case. It took me 3 minutes to cook one. We'll see what it does this time. Alright, you hear that? It's ready. I'm going to crank it back down just slightly because I have a good healthy fear of grease, cooking grease. I'm going to take out an egg roll skin. You're going to see they're real thin and sometimes apparently hard to get apart. I had not used this brand before, but I'm going to use it now. I'm going to just start with this one. And you're going to make it in the pointy part is down here. You're going to see this is a fast operation. I want you to know, last night's took me 26 minutes, I think, because in making the egg roll itself, the stuffing, you've got quite a little process. I'm going to put a tiny speck more. I have all sorts of friends who are expecting an egg roll today. We'll see how this goes. All right, and then you push this, and your big goal is to not let it break. And you're going to put some egg wash. This is 2 tablespoons. Notice I'm actually measuring this time. 2 tablespoons of water with, this one has torn. I'm not going to use it right now. I'll come back to that. I don't like that one. We're going to try it again. As you can see in cooking, there's lots of practice that you have to do. All right, this one isn't broken. I'm going to try this again. Put a little bit bigger amount on there. There you go. And you're going to put it in there just kind of like you have an egg roll. That's what it looks like on the inside. Now this one is more pliable, so you have to be really careful. And you have to work pretty fast with egg rolls because they'll dry just like that one did. I didn't like the looks of that. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to be cautious this time. Really, this is a real quick day for me. Now we're going to do this right. By the way, if you put your fingers in there, they'll be fried too. So you're going to put this in and listen to the sound. And look at that go. And the object here is to cook it up and not burn it up. That's kind of my objective all the time. Cook it up, but don't burn it up. We were just talking about cooking bacon in the microwave. I like to cook it on the stove, to be honest with you, but if it's just me, I will cook it in my microwave. And the other day I cooked it and it was like a burnt offering. All right, you see this is really cooking fast. I can even crank it down a little. This is hot. See how it is? Now you can see this side's real brown. This side needs just a little tiny bit more. You're going to get yourself a paper towel for draining purposes. See how fast that cooked? All right, now you're going to do a little bit of draining, but notice nothing fell out. There's nothing in the pan. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. To be honest with you, I have never made these on a gas stove. And I'm going to just hope I don't burn myself up. All right, this is a pretty generous spoonful. I'm going to try one more for you. See, I told you this was going to be quick this morning. I had it all planned out. Last night was not quick. And I think I probably convinced people that they never want to make egg rolls. They're time consuming. They are not difficult. Notice I'm just folding it like a little envelope. All right, I haven't even given out any of my shout outs, so I'll do that at the end. See how it's nice and tight? And believe it or not, it looks just like the picture. So I've been cooking egg rolls since the 70s. And I had a small but rowdy fan club back then. Please, please, please make the egg rolls. All right, I'll make the egg rolls. And I did. And it became kind of a star at Christmas time. I really think of Sally and Susan and Dee and Carolyn and just our whole family gathering together. And the kids, I don't remember my nieces and nephews eating egg rolls, but maybe they did. When you're done, you're going to put them in a sauce and kind of dip it just like you do in the restaurant. See how fast that is? I mean, there's nothing to this once you get this part done. Those are really done. And I'm going to stop that action right there. I'm going to take this off the burner. Then I'm going to come back and make more egg rolls in a little bit because I just told you there are a bunch of people who want to taste one. So we're going to go through that little process. When you have a done egg roll, I'm going to show you up close and personal. That is what it looks like on the inside. And this stuff right here, this is an already mixed up, I'm going to take a bite. Takes me right back to 1976. No kidding. That is really good. Gosh, I've kind of forgotten. You always want to keep these egg roll skins as dry as possible because it will crack on you. This is Jezebel sauce. Jezebel sauce can be a lot of different preserves. This particular one is pineapple, apricot, dry mustard, and the brand you get is Coleman's. C-O-L-M-A-N, Coleman's dry mustard. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, and horseradish. And you can put as much or as little as you want of those other ingredients. The preserves that you use, it could be orange marmalade, it could be peach. I looked all over, and let me tell you, it's not easy. I looked all over for apple jelly, could not find it. So you can add that too if you, it adds a nice little kick. All right, this is Jezebel sauce, goes with the egg roll. I think I've shouted out to my longtime family who, they're the first ones I experimented with. And now my reputation is, it's just preceded me. That's all I can say. There are several people today that are going to want these egg rolls. All right, have a great day. Remember, Houston Food Bank, that's the real reason I'm doing this, not because, I don't know, these egg rolls are pretty good. I'm really happy I made them. All right, Laurie's Kitchen, signing off. Have a great Saturday. Bye.